Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, they've done it. Maybe a little too late, but the Yankees have finally released Josh Donaldson from the roster. I even read like a couple of days ago, him and Rizzo were kind of, taking batting practice, maybe some fielding drills. And I was like, wait. Okay, Rizzo, I understand, but Donaldson coming back? Why? He was been on the 60-day IL with that partial tear in the calf, but it's like, what is he coming back for? I mean, the season's over. No one wants to see him. I mean, come on. But the Yankees do finally make the move, drop the hammer, officially releasing Josh Donaldson. So I guess, that just solves that mystery there. And, of course, another little story, Harrison Bader placed on waivers. Now, this seems like to be an August sort of deal. Now, I'm going to really want to dedicate this episode to Josh Donaldson, so we'll get into the Bader thing a little bit. But before we do, make sure you subscribe to this podcast. So what you're listening right now can't get anywhere else unless you're a podcast subscriber. So, maybe I'll mention it on YouTube at some time, but you're getting this right here, right now, before anything else. So make sure you are a podcast subscriber. Wherever you go, Section 420 Talkin Yankees, the podcast, subscribe. And while you're at it, just go over to YouTube and subscribe there as well. Section 420 Talkin Yankees. See me and hear me, but definitely subscribe to this podcast. So let's get back around to Josh Donaldson. Finally, the Yankees dropped the hammer there, officially releasing him. Probably something that should have been done maybe a little sooner, but nevertheless, that's done now. I'm going to get to Donaldson on the back end. Just want to quickly get Bader because, obviously we're running out of August days here, and it's kind of an August thing. So he's placed on waivers. Seems like the same thing with the Mets calls Carrasco. This is sort of an August deal where you're placed on waivers. Now, he's still in the Yankee lineup as they continue to play in Detroit. In that series. So it's a situation where, let's just say, several teams claim him. It's in reverse of MLB standing orders. So the team with the lesser record will get the first crack at him. So let's just say you have a team with, 70 wins versus a team with 60 wins. They both claim him. The team with the 60 wins, if I read this correctly, will be able to get the claim on Bader. Now, back in the old days, I guess they trashed the previous system where a team could put a claim on a waiver and then both teams would work out some sort of trade. Well, 2019, they did away with that system, so this is the current system they're using. And this is an opportunity for a team. Let's say they want to pick up Bader. You make the deal in August, and as long as he's on your roster before September 1st, you can then use him for the postseason. So this is something where the Yankees are putting him out there. Now, the Yankees don't get anything in return. Back in the day, I think you used to get like a pick or a draft pick or something with some sort of compensation after on. The Yankees get no compensation for this. All they get is relieving of Bader's salary. I believe there's like $880,000 left. I wish I got a monthly check like that. I gotta say, Bader lately, again, been a little bit of a disappointment. I was excited for him, and he's had some good moments as the Yankees. He was good in the playoffs last season, but again, a little bit of the injury bug, and just not really playing too well. Hitting kind of like the rest of the guys, 240, 250. Again, at times he does provide some excitement, but hurt a little bit, and who knows if he's hurt now. Again, not hitting it much lately, and he's just been really quiet this entire second half of the season. And again, if you want to look back at the trade for Jordan Montgomery, well, right now Montgomery's playing for a Texas team that has some postseason aspirations, and he's doing relatively well. In the long run, was this a bad move for the Yankees? Kind of hard to say. I mean, again, Bader was the only kind of live body the Yankees had in the last year's postseason. Now they got swept by Houston, so what difference does it make? And again, in spots when the Yankees seemed good this season, it was when Bader was around. But overall, you say, a quality lefty in Jordan Montgomery. I mean, the Yankees could kind of use that right now, instead of putting Michael King out there for 3 innings and then, going bullpen rest of the way. But I thought it was okay at the time. That was a gutsy move by Cashman to do it. Again, Montgomery with the Yankees was always like a 500 pitcher, so all these people are freaking out. Like, he always had a respectable ERA, but it wasn't like we let some sort of gem go. I think, when you look at an offensive player, if you got someone who can play every day and a center fielder is good, generally that's the higher valued person over a pitcher who only pitches every 5th game and is at best he was a number 4. I don't even know if he's a number 3 starter, maybe a number 4 starter. So in that debate, you would always take the center fielder. So I don't think it was a terrible move by Cashman, but get yet another Cashman move that just seemingly, his past 2 seasons been more misses than hits, and unfortunately, Bader just seems to turn out to one of them. Just hasn't been hit lately. Now doesn't mean it's goodbye forever for the Yankees. So let's just say a team claims and he's gone. Okay, that's fine. He's still going to be a free agent. So if the Yankees really want him back, they could get him back, and we've seen that Yankees do that in the past. When they traded away Aroldis Chapman in 2016, then they signed him to get him back as a free agent in 2017. So, Bader liked it here. I think the Yankees like Bader, like them hit more, obviously, hit better, but obviously, it doesn't mean it's goodbye for Bader. It's just really just for the Yankees to dump some salary in this last month. And we didn't really get this earlier with Jason Dominguez, but now, you have an opportunity, since he was promoted when the Yankees bought up Pereira and Peraza, they promoted Jason Dominguez, their AAA. Well, now in September, if Bader's gone, center field's going to be open. Opportunity to see what Dominguez got there. Why not? Just give, this last month, obviously, they're not going for the playoffs. Give the fans something to look at. And then you kind of have this push to your future. Maybe just I don't want to use the whole term baby bombers because it kind of leaves a bad taste in everyone's mouth. But yeah, look, if you got Volpe there and bopping his bat and Peraza and Pereira, now you bring up Jason Dominguez and all right, you got 4 or 5 guys that, all right, let's, there's something to look forward to at least, I kind of mentioned, one of the previous podcast episodes, which is why I got to be a podcast subscriber, why, 2023 is probably would be the worst of the seasons, the Yankees haven't made the postseason lately, is that there's nothing to look forward to, at least I said in that rant, to 2024. Well, if Dominguez could come and hit and some of these other guys hit, at least he leaves something to look forward for 2024, which in fact now also reported the Yankees raising the ticket prices for the ticket holders there, for season ticket holders. So if a lousy season, you got to pay a little bit more to see it next year, and hopefully the brand of baseball will be better. The whole thing with season tickets, I did it way back at the, I did it for the new stadium a couple of seasons. I'm going back maybe 2000, not 9, about 10 or 11. I did it for a couple of seasons. I don't really know why anyone does season tickets, unless, if you're wealthy enough and you just want your seat down there in the main section and that's your thing and, you got the money to do that, then it kind of makes sense. I think for any other fan, it's just, I don't know why you do season tickets. I know you want to kind of put money to the team and commit to the team. I get that. I almost felt like you're investing in the team a little bit, but it's like, all right, you got these seats, and you can just go on StubHub any day and just get a seat right there. And all right, yes, if you're a season ticket holder, then you don't have to worry about that. And for the big marquee games like the Subway Series games, and when the Boston ticket was a hot ticket and things like that. All right, I understand that point that you don't have to pay outrageous prices to see one of those games. I get that, but for all these other seats you got, and it's like, how many times you try to sell it and you can't sell it, and you're stuck with seats you can't use half the time. I don't even know why people do it, but those are the people that kind of contribute to the team. They feel like doing something. That's how you want to spend your money. Do what you got to do there. But you're going to pay a few more dollars for your season tickets next year. So that's the Harrison Bader situation. Now let's turn our focus attention to Josh Donaldson. As I mentioned at the top of the episode, when I saw that he was starting to work out a little bit, I was like, wait, there's no way this guy could come back. Well, how are you going to sell that to the fans? Just after everything, why would you want him back? Even Peraza stinks the rest of the way. Just play him at third base. At this point, you got nothing. And at least he's a young guy. Let him just take some lumps and let's just see what he got. Donaldson's not going to come here. What is he going to contribute to 2 wins? It just doesn't make sense. And even when he came back originally in June, he hit a home run, so you can't totally knock the guy. But it was like 8 home runs in non-game winning situations. It was just kind of like fluff home runs in garbage time. Only one of the home runs was actually a meaningful one in a Yankee win. Although the home runs was just kind of like, it was either in garbage time or the Yankees were losing the game anyway. He was still hitting like 160, so nothing really changed. So I don't think he was going to come back. There'll be no point for him to come back here. And just, I guess the Yankees just made it official. He's released from the roster, and he's probably done with baseball. So he was in the final year of this deal. Yankees are probably going to still pay him to go home. And I kind of told you this was going to happen. I remember a couple of seasons ago, when the Yankees 2016 started tearing it down, they basically just released A-Rod, basically paid him to say just go home. Same thing with Teixeira. Teixeira's more of a likable guy. Teixeira's having a lot of problems with the wrist and the neck injury, and they said, all right, just go home. And so I kind of figured they were going to do the same thing with Donaldson, and they did. So now, how you want to look back at the Donaldson thing? It's going to be mostly negative. He kind of, something about him just sort of epitomizes what this Yankee team is right now, and is just like a guy that strikes out a lot and hits your occasional home run, and just kind of did nothing in the postseason except swing and miss, swing. And it's just like, there's something about him just sort of embodied this entire Yankee team, this way the offense is. Just let's look back at the trade. At the time, again, Cashman, a little bit of a gutsy move there, but you got to look at the pieces. I don't think it was terrible a trade at the time. Look, we knew what Donaldson was. He was basically a 240 hitter, but he'll get you 25 home runs, play good defense at third base, and a little short of that's just kind of what he was a little bit last season. Again, he hit much lower than that. But, you'd expect the guy to hit 210 or 200. But, he was just kind of what he was when he bought in. Obviously his MVP days were over. But here's a guy that, put up a lot of good stats for Toronto, Oakland, and was an MVP in 2015. I know that's like 8 years in the past, but, good play. And you're getting him and kind of fluff for basically Gio. Now, look, we all like Gio Urshela. Solid defensively. Maybe give him the slight edge over Josh Donaldson. But Gio, he would hit for a high average, but he was kind of a bop hitter. He was going to get you maybe at most 12 home runs, 11 home runs. I mean, that's kind of what he is. So, would you say Donaldson's the better player at the time? You could kind of make that argument. Maybe batting average-wise, Gio was the better player, maybe slightly better defensively. But you look total thing there. Donaldson, you're not giving up that much of defense, and you can't complain. I mean, his defense was good the past 2 seasons, even last year. With kind of left, even with the struggles, that left side of the Yankee defense was much, much improved compared to 2021 and previously, where the Yankees are kicking the ball around a lot. So, he did hold down third base well there, so you can't complain. Since he's not a homegrown Yankee, he's kind of, even though they got him on a trade, he's a bit of a mercenary, he's not there. And he's not really a likable guy. Cole had some problems with him. And, of course, remember the situation last season where it would be like Tim Anderson and him kind of got into it. He seemed like a bit of an edge on his, chip on his shoulder. And that's because one of the reasons Cashman wanted to bring him in. He felt the Yankee team was just a little too little flat, not really, tough enough, really, if we wanted to kind of bring a little toughness to the thing. So that's the package for him. So, look. Was it a bad trade? I don't know. I can't call it bad. It's just because you got to look at the other situation, what the Yankees were able to relieve themselves of, which was Gary Sanchez, who wasn't cutting it here. And if you look at Gary Sanchez right now, and we'll look at both of them. Gary Sanchez right now playing for San Diego, and look, he bounced around a little bit this season, and looks like he got his footing with the Padres. Okay, but he's hitting like 218. He's got 18 home runs and 45 RBIs, and that's what he is. He's more or less the same as Josh Donaldson. If he was here, he'll be hitting 200. He'll crack a few home runs, of course, but still, he'd be driving the fans nuts. Plus, we know with his framing and his pitching defense isn't that good. It was almost declining to the point where Cole didn't even want to throw to him, especially in big postseason games. You couldn't have his bat in there. So I don't think it was a terrible trade. It didn't really work out maybe with the way the Yankees wanted, but Gary Sanchez was finished here. He couldn't go on. So if you had a way to get him out, so make someone take him off his hands, you have to give something. That's what the give was Gio. I don't think the Yankees want to get rid of Gio Urshela, but for them to take Gary Sanchez, who's a bit of a project, you at least got to give them a sure thing, and the sure thing was Gio Urshela, not making much money, but a good quality player, and that's what you got. That was the trade. And of course, got Minnesota to eat a little bit of the Donaldson's contract there. So again, for the Yankees, it wasn't a terrible trade. I mean, I'll just say it was neutral. Now the Yankees got back. They got Donaldson. They got IKF. Again, IKF, I think he started off good last season, trailed off a little bit, and really gave you nothing in the postseason. This season, obviously, he lost his job to Volpe, so it took him a while to get bats. And look, to his credit, he learned to play outfield, and he's been Mr. Utility for the Yankees, and even pitching in blowouts. So he is what he is as well. He's another 250 hitter. He got like 4 or 5 home runs and serviceable. That's it. I mean, it's a pick 'em. I can't say it was a bad trade. And of course, the Yankees getting Ben Rovette. I mean, obviously, the jury's still out on him, and I don't know if he's part of the Yankees' future plans. Obviously, Austin Wells is probably, if things work out, would be their catcher of the future. But hey, look, I think it wasn't a bad deal. You took a little bit of a gamble, but you just didn't expect, even though Donaldson was a little bit 35 at the time, it's just kind of the same situation with DJ and Stan. It's just like, these guys have aged a little quicker than you anticipated, and the Yankees have been caught off guard a little bit. But now he's gone. Of course, that money's off the roster there. And one quick note about DJ, kind of went on the radar, but he's actually been putting together a pretty good August. I kind of beat up on him a lot, but he actually been hitting. So I don't know, maybe something's a little better with him. Is it Sean Casey paying off? I don't know, but just want to throw in that little quick sidebar there because I do spend a lot of time beating up on him. But overall, you got to say the Yankees didn't expect DJ to fall as far as he did, as well as Stan. With this, again, we don't know if it's an age thing, we don't know if it's an injury thing, we don't know yet. But obviously, they didn't commit to these two guys thinking that these guys would fall from production, even though DJ's been having a good August. But I just want to mention that there. And of course, like I mentioned before, Donaldson. There's something about him. I think this got onto the fans. They went down the list. Joey Gallo was the enemy. They got rid of him. Then it became Hicks. They had to ship him out there. And Donaldson, to his credit, he never said anything bad. He never snapped back at the fans. Never threw a middle finger. Never even blown a kiss like Rondon. So Donaldson, even though he's a chippy guy, kind of held his temper there. Same thing with Stanton. I mean, he never says, even though fans get on him, he never says the wrong thing. And give Donaldson some credit there. He never had any outbursts like that. He just took his booze and went back to the plate there. And that was that. So that closed the chapter on Josh Donaldson. I think with him gone, though, again, symbolically, just something about him, just the type of player, of hitting 200 and occasionally hit home runs has been kind of like, he's just been symbolic of what this team is. So I think with him gone, it just helps, and just knowing mentally he's gone. And now we'll see what some of these kids do. And of course, Bader, he got to, I guess, the 31st. For a team to claim him and put on their roster before that. Other than that, obviously after the first, I think he'll just stay with the Yankees. I don't think the Yankees are going to release him. just doesn't make sense at that point. Just ride him out and then see if you want to bring him back in free agency. So that's the episode. This is even though Bader is still floating around, he could be gone, but still, this is the Josh Donaldson episode. So we'll dedicate this one to Josh Donaldson. And he's probably done with baseball. I think he's like 37 now, and it doesn't seem like he has anything left. I mean, he's a 150 hitter. I know he gets you a home run once in a while, but he's probably done with baseball. So that's the career of Josh Donaldson. Went out in the Yankee uniform. And of course, I don't think he's going to Hall of Fame or anything like that, so you don't have to worry about him wearing the Yankee hat, nor would he do that if that's the case. So we'll catch you on the next episode. I guess we'll do a wrap-up when Detroit ends and then take it from there. Later.